What's going on, guys? I'm Fuller from Custom Offsets TV on YouTube. It is a rainy day here in Wisconsin, which is kind of not so good. We got another episode of This or That, so we got Keaton here joining us in the Google Hangouts. He's going to ask us the questions. Dustin and I are going to answer them, and you guys asked them. So here we go.
One truck to drive for the rest of your life. Go.
And I can only pick one. Give me 2020 Ford Tremor, because that way, if I ever do any sort of larger towing, I at least have a 3/4 ton. It's still relatively capable off-road. Aftermarket support is there. 7.3 gas engine.
Or 6.7 turbo diesel.
Yeah, I think I'd probably go with the gas. I don't know. It's a new engine, so I guess you might have, you don't know if something's going to go wrong or not, but I feel like that truck should last quite a while and cover just about all the bases.
That's a super solid choice, actually. I didn't think about the Tremor. I am going to take a 5th gen 2500 Cummins. I think they look good, and I mean, the 6.7's been around a long time. It's obviously it's super reliable. That truck is going to haul more than I'm probably ever going to need to haul in my life. And they're awesome. That's it. I think it's because we both haul some heavy around from time to time.
Ram 1500 lifted or Ram 2500 lifted?
Can I just have both?
One of each, please.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking newer Ram trucks, they both look so good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I was going to pick one, and it's not the only truck I'm ever going to have, I would probably just go with the Ram 1500. I think from a daily driving aspect, a half-ton's always going to ride a little bit better than a 3/4 ton. And on these new 5th gen Rams, you can get them with air ride. Now, there's not a ton of lift kits available for the air ride trucks. Very, very minimal, actually. But you could still have a lifted one on air ride, have a nice setup, have a good, interior, and still have a comfortable ride.
Yeah, ditto. If I have to pick one, it's going to be the half-ton, just because for a daily driver, they're going to ride a little bit better than that 3/4 ton, and they still look super good. So,
build a high trim level or build out low trim level?
This is always a tough one, because I feel like so many times I answer questions based on I like the interior options, and I want the heated and cooled seats, and I want the big screen and all that stuff. But at the same time, if I was going to build a vehicle, I guess I don't necessarily know that I would spend the extra money to get all the fancy trim and then not have money left over to build it. Like, a good example would be the AT4 or the High Country. I wouldn't spend the extra thousands of dollars to get a factory 2-inch lifted truck. I would rather buy, XLT F-150 and not the Limited or something like that, or you buy an RST rather than a High Country or something like that from Chevy, where you still get kind of the middle ground. Doing it with a work truck, I think you sacrifice a lot of interior creature comforts, but if you can get something that's a little bit nice on the inside and then save some money to put on something else, like the Raptor is a great example of that. Although I love the Raptor, getting into a brand new one, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, depending on how it's optioned out, where you could buy a base model F-150. If you really go work truck, you can get them brand new as low as $26,000 or something like that. But say mid-30s for a nicely optioned 4-wheel drive F-150, and then that leaves you a $30,000 or more budget to upgrade it as compared to the Raptor. Not saying you'd actually have that much, but I think with $30,000 you could probably make an F-150 more capable than you could have a stock Raptor, and it wouldn't be stock.
Yeah, and the advantage there is what you hit on the end, is that you can really build it the way you want to. Now, with that being said, I think if I had to make the choice between a low option and then build it to be what I want, or a high option truck, historically I've always went for a more higher option trim package, just because sure, you can swap into, you can take out the small radio and put the big screen in, but then you also have to go through the coding and the programming and all of that stuff to make it work correctly.
Yeah, especially on the new stuff, it's not as easy as it used to be. Like now you got to have the right tool. You got to have ForeScan or whatever you're using, depending on what vehicle it is, to tell your truck just to let it work.
Correct. It's not like it used to be where you just unplugged the old single DIN and plugged in the double DIN and it worked,
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, I'm gonna go higher trim package for that reason.
Street racing Cat Eye or Chevy 1500 Overland?
I'll take the Overland every day. I think everybody saw that coming. I just enjoy my time off-road more so than on the road. And when it comes to fast trucks, you can make a fast truck, but boy, is it just easier to have a fast car, like right out of the box. So you can have a heavily modified truck and it will be just as fast as some of the stock cars out there. It's like the same cars versus bikes argument. You can have a $100,000 car, or for 10 grand, you can have a motorcycle that goes just as fast.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, but how dope would it be to just lay fat burnouts in like a regular cab short box, black on black Cat Eye, like
Twin turbo.
Yeah, dump it, big spoolie boys in there. It'd be awesome. Yeah, that's what I want.
And you'd probably get more use out of a street build than an overland build, because as much as I like to talk about it, it's not every single day I get to actually go drive through the woods. It's every couple of weekends here and there. If you had a street build, you probably just drive it to work every day and whatever, race a couple fools on your way home.
Bonus question. If you could remake a movie from a different character's perspective, from whose perspective would you choose and why?
I'd love to see A Walk to Remember from the from the perspective of the girl that dies, because I think it's really touching.
I feel like that's a great question, but I don't watch movies enough to do that. I'm trying to think of the last couple I watched.
There's so many directions you could take this, because you could go to sci-fi and get into Lord of the Rings. You could do Twister and follow like Dusty from Twister would be super cool. I've always really liked him, so to actually follow that whole movie with him would be super neat. Keaton, I don't know if I can pick one. Lord.
I think there's a lot of movies out there where you have the good guys and the bad guys, and usually it's shot from the good guys' perspective. But I would like to see the movie Extraction from the bad guy's perspective, because to them, the good guy in that movie is technically taking something that doesn't belong to him, so to speak. So it would be interesting to see their perspective on it. And the movie kind of ends very vaguely, where you don't know what happened one way or the other. Usually it's oh yeah, good guys win. But this movie ends and you're like, so what exactly happened there? And I think there's going to be a second one. That's why they did that. But I would definitely want to see both, though. Not just from one perspective or the other. It would be nice to have a movie shot where you can watch both.
Actually, real talk though, I think it would be super cool to do a Transformers movie, but not from the Autobots' perspective, right? To follow the whole storyline of the Decepticons and why they do what they do would be super neat, because it's the same thing as where good guy always wins, bad guy always loses, but it would be neat to see that entire storyline progress and what made them do what they did,
So that was another episode of This or That. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to check out more, we got a whole bunch of these and a lot of other videos on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/custom offsets. And I think that's all you need to know. Yeah.